Morning, guys. Oh, is Joey back?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, guys, yesterday we read a scenario, and that was printed out by the company. And yesterday morning on the call, we discussed some other scenarios on my manager's call and how we handle those things. So I said at this site in Bemidji, we're gonna start using real scenarios, okay? So we're gonna use real everyday things with all of us, okay? So as I asked Gary some questions the other morning about backing off the scale, I'm gonna ask y'all this morning to take a look at this picture, and then we're gonna ask, what do you think happened there? I'll be setting stages throughout the days in the mornings so that we create these real life scenarios ourselves, and then we'll talk about it. It's not right or wrong or good or bad, it's just a scenario so that we talk about what do you think happened and what really happened. I'm gonna let Joyce in too. Oh. That cone is Brian Seipel. He graciously volunteered to be that cone. So assuming that that's a pedestrian, Gary, what do you think happened here?
Got it.
Okay.
Look like it.
David?
Johnson on some brakes. You got it.
Okay. Anybody else want to throw in their 2 cents worth?
On the sidewalk, maybe.
Okay. George, what really happened in this situation?
You tell me. No, you tell me.
No, you tell me, because we're going to tie this back to integrity and our actions. So you tell me what happened.
The cone was on the sidewalk in front of the pickup, so I threw it over there, so I can park,
How hard did you throw that cone?
just like this.
Because I watched out the window,
How can you?
and I got to tell you, it smacked the building pretty hard enough to hear it inside the building.
It didn't
so
hit
is
the
that-
buil- It didn't hit the building.
But that goes back to our actions, laying right up against the building, George. Right there. It's against the building. It's in the
I
picture.
went just like this.
So here's the deal, though. We can argue about that later. But here's the thing. What I'm asking is what's that mindset? What happened when you saw that cone where your truck parks?
Why was it there?
Is that what you asked yourself?
Yeah. Why was it there?
So,
Because I parked there all the time. I mean, why was it there?
okay.
That's the question. Why was that cone sitting there? Who put
Okay,
it
so
there?
how did you handle the situation? If that would have been a pedestrian, would you have handled it differently?
Well, it's completely different than a pedestrian.
Okay.
Like, I'm parking, I'm not going down the road.
Okay, so back to last week when we had the complaint filed by the customer when we're driving in the construction, how does that change the situation, George, is what I'm asking, and what would you do differently next time you see a cone, a pedestrian, a cat, a dog, or anything else in the way of where you're gonna park?
What? I think in that situation, I would have just stayed back.
But why?
You know, just to stay back. Maybe there was a cone there for a reason. You don't know that, so maybe just stay back.
Okay.
Fine.
It is.
And I'm not picking on you, George, don't take it the wrong way.
But why?
Because I'm gonna be setting these up in the parking lot and everybody's gonna get a chance, okay? That's all. We're creating those real life scenarios. So how would you handle it differently next time, George, if there was something in front of your personal vehicle or your work vehicle?
Well, it depends on the situation. But I mean, why was that cone there?
Because I put it there, okay?
Why?
Just as when people are backing in the back to empty cardboard, I put a cone behind Gary's truck while he's backing up. To see if we're recognizing that, and if we're using the R factor and the other things, if we're using our integrity, our values, and what we've learned. So it's not to pick on anybody, everybody's gonna get a chance, okay?
But I can see it for doing the truck stuff, for parking, your own personal vehicle.
It goes to mindset though, George. When you're parking, isn't that just as important as when you're on the road?
Okay, I got out and I give it a little toss.
Okay. So Dave, what was
So I
your
pulled up.
explanation for it?
I guess if I would have seen the cone, I would have maybe assumed it was there for a reason. And maybe I would have just maybe stayed back and maybe come in and maybe said, said, hey, why's that cone in front of the pickup, you know, or whatever, is there a reason? Something.
I mean, isn't that a walkway anyways? Are we supposed to be over that?
It
What if
is,
a customer
but
snags his bumper as they walk by?
It's no different than parking downtown. Your bumper is over the curb on the sidewalk. There's no difference at all.
And yes, it is, but all good stuff, guys, but what I'm asking is what will we do differently moving forward? I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I asked how George handled this particular situation. I've asked Dave how he'd handle it. Paul, how would you handle it if you pulled into your parking space and there was a cone where you normally pull your vehicle up?
Five, 10 feet in front of it, or go to another spot.
Okay, I'm asking for different mindsets, that's all, and to learn from it. Like I said, everybody will get a chance. You know, we'll create these scenarios.
You never know, the county could have done that.
Or any one of these guys.
Yeah, but you don't know, that's the mindset he's getting at. You can't assume somebody else did it, there could have been a reason behind it.
So if Joey and I are standing waiting to cross the street, and I shove him out a little bit and there's a car coming, are they gonna hit him because they said, oh, that guy shoved him out, so I don't have to stop? My point is how do we perceive these things, and how do we handle these things? We're back to our mindset, our integrity, our values, and our safety training. With caution, okay? When in doubt, what do we do?
Put it in reverse and go park there, Joey.
Okay. When in doubt, what do we do, guys?
Don't do it.
Or get out and what?
You know,
Which in this
look
case,
around.
George did.
Look around.
And he made the decision to move the cone. George knows that area well, he parks there every day. But all good points that there could have been something else going on. So, all right, let's have a great and safe day.